finally got our transit log for Greece. It took a lot of effort, and it's going to cause a lot of hassle for people in the future, that's for sure. But we have got ours. Okay, so all of this paperwork is to do with sailing around the Mediterranean with our boat. There's just a crazy amount of bureaucracy, and it's just nuts. It's just absolutely crazy what we have to comply with. Today is the 10th of May, and we're now waiting for an announcement from the Greek Prime Minister to tell us if we are allowed to travel around Greece. Amazing. We recently got our sewing machine back, so now we can finish off the bimini. Before we start on the sewing, we are going to mark up and measure and install the solar panels. And the solar panels that we're fitting are Sunware TX range. They come pre-sewn to a canvas patch that then just 10x clips onto the bimini.
Okay, so Ian was struggling to see the positive and earth symbols on there.
Tell me if anyone in the comments section, if you can read any of that, let me know.
But when you actually zoom in on a photograph, you can see it says P.
Yeah, no, zoom in right. Look, got to keep going. Will it go any further? P so for positive.
P, Earth.
Yeah, we don't need the others. Don't need the others.
2.
There's only 2 pins in there.
3.
There's only 2 pins in there. There's only 2 pin plug.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So round that way and pause.
Yep.
Neg. Okay. So if I put it like that,
yep,
it's the R shape, and that is pause. That is neg. Yep. So we're going to put some molly coat on there. Molly coat's a bit like Vaseline if you haven't got any. This stuff doesn't. All it is like a water repellent grease designed for your electrical system. I borrowed this from work. They're very good with their sponsorship. That's part of the problem of being made redundant is now I've got to buy all this stuff. Funny, you can show the viewers how easy it is actually. Go for it. I'm going to drink my coffee while you're doing that one. Yeah.
You put it back on, I already had that off.
It's just one of those really fine threads that just keeps going for ages.
What colour scheme have you got on this?
Well, red's pulse, blue's neutral, that's always the case.
Because blue is live. Brown's live.
No. Say that on camera.
Shut up.
Blue's live?
Shut up.
Blue's live?
No, I knew you had a different colour scheme going on.
No wonder the
outside.
kettle don't work properly.
So red is positive.
Yeah, red's pulse.
I'm not going to be in any of the other videos ever again. Because I think you find me stupid.
I don't have to try.
You try me.
I don't have to try to make you look
Try
stupid.
and make me look stupid. The plug was undone and you did it up.
It was an initiative test and you failed.
You're dogging off again. We need to have words with Anna.
The solar panels themselves come pre-fitted with the 10x clips, the female version of the 10x clips. We have to fit the male version of the 10x clips into the canvas. So we're going to have to line everything up, mark the canvas, take the canvas back off, and then fit the 10x clips.
So because we got our sewing machine back from Athens, Yanni from Odysseus nicely took it to a lady in Athens to have it fixed for us. He's brought it back to us, and now we're able to finish our bimini project. We just had a few little bits we needed to restitch on there, and attach the solar panels correctly.
More scruffy.
Never mind. Tell me what you're doing.
We're sewing reinforcement pads onto the bimini because we are mounting the solar panels on top of it, and I want to make sure that it's nice and strong. So these little round patches are under the 10x clips, and then I'm just doing a little box stitch, so doing it there and there just to hold that in, and it's just reinforcing the canvas work. It should stop it from ripping if the wind gets under the solar panels.
Very good.
Have a shade later.
Good.
And this is the finished result. Solar panels in place, making power, held down, bimini fitted.
Go.
Paint the scuppers. It's my spring job. Let them go rusty all winter, and then paint them in the summer when the sun's out.
So you're using the needle gun to get rid of all the loose stuff that you can't get through the sander.
The awkward things, I'm getting a needle gun on it, and the easy stuff I'll just sand by hand.
Good.
It's just like being back at work. Needle gun, glasses. Oh no, where's my orange boiler suit?
I've got that out if you want it.
Okay.
It's on my bunk.
So I just want to get to these pieces up here next.
Just there.
You can see where the paint has lost its adhesion to the steel. So that's a piece of epoxy with no grip on the metal underneath. That's what you have to get rid of.
Having porthole, your bunk.
Yeah, now I can't wash down.
Yeah.
Unless we wash that full of butyl for the minute, so we can wash all this crap off, because we can't leave all this in the scuppers. That's irritating.
Ian has just found a little tiny hole, or just made one,
which is going to be next to impossible to weld up externally. It's right next to one of our chain plates.
And the ironic bit is, it's right above the brand new vinyl that we've just installed.
You are always painting.
Or hoovering.
Or hoovering. We're like the dynamic duo. You can be Hoover Girl and I'll be Dremel Boy.
Okay, Dremel Boy.
We should be sponsored by Dremel.
Yeah, at the moment we've got a dodgy one because our Dremel overheated because you used it too much.
Cooked it, yeah. Just got some cheap copy now. Oh, it's alright though. It's half the price of an actual Dremel.
Well,
but of course, if Dremel were to sponsor us, we'd always say that Dremel were the best.
I think at the time we had no way of getting it.
Actually? Sponsored by Lumberjack Tools. It's not the same ring, is it? It doesn't have the same ring. It's sponsored by Dremel, because everyone knows who Dremel are. If you say sponsored by Lumberjack, what does that conjure in your head? Chainsaws, checkered shirts, big bushy beards, chainsaws. Not the same. Want to see something funny? Our Samson post is full of water. I couldn't make out why the paint kept going flaky around here. I'm always painting this. And then I spotted a loose bit there, so I smacked that off, and what's happened is the Samson post is filled up with bloody water. What are the chances? It's good metal. It's certainly not going to rust through, is it?
Nope.
I just like to paint it and it stays painted.
Straight over your piece of metal.
That's fine. It's got to come out. That's crazy. Oh no, I've drilled into the water tank.
water leaks coming from?
No wonder. Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew that our bollards were actually water tanks?
She is safe though. We could have used that on an Atlantic crossing.
Yeah. There it is. So that's where the problem is, the water's got under the epoxy. Gets underneath the paint and underneath the epoxy and then lifts it, and the water stays trapped there. If you don't get rid of it, it'll just get worse. One piece of advice I would give to steelboat owners if you're going to do this type of work: be very friendly with the marina staff and definitely be friendly with the manager. And also make sure that none of this crap is going to blow over onto your neighbour's boats.
Yeah.
Because this will leave rust stains all over their decks, and if they've got fiberglass boats, they will go. What? Nothing. Certain similarities. What? Get a bit of splicing going on. So, explain to the shore crew what it is we're doing.
We are splicing some hard eyes into this line here to make barb haulers for our Genoa and for our spinnaker, because at the moment, if you remember rightly from our San Carlos yard period, we actually took our Genoa car tracks off the teak tow rail when we replaced the tent rail.
So what are you doing here?
Here I am just thinning out the end.
And this is one we've already made. So we've done one, and the assistant Igor in the background, hello, is making number 2. So that'll be on camera. It'll look
Okay,
good.
so what we're doing at the moment, we're taking the long end, the loose end, all the way through, so that when we make the splice, it actually locks the splice in position.
Yeah. So now, what that's saying is that we've now taken the long section of line back through the short section of line, so that when we splice the tail into the standing part of the rope, this section here, when we splice this back into here, it's locked off. It cannot move anywhere, and it makes it really easy to put a hard eye in as well, because all we need to do is pinch that hard eye in position and then start splicing that back through here, and it will lock. It won't move.
Okay, so we had the first one we put through as a locking one, and then we've done the next one as close as possible to the first one to make sure it locks off, so that the hard eye can't move and won't drop out. Okay, so we've fed the loose end inside the line. Okay, and then we're going to pull this out.
And we'd like to thank Spirit Yachts for their continued support.
Just like magic.
Why do we make a splice instead of just tying a simple knot?
Does not actually decrease the strength of the line.
Look how faded that is. That's been there for a while. Why haven't you fixed it?
Hang on. Why haven't you fixed it?
A bit busy. So our bilge pump is under this little lot.
There?
Yeah. So basically what we got we have 3 bilge sections. So you notice this one is currently in the off position. That was in on auto. That is on auto, as if by magic. Who'd have thought? So that was it kicking off. That was not a practice. We were sinking. So this one here, if I turn it to the auto position, it stays on, which means the float switch is stuck. So I think it's the float switch. The float switches are garbage unless you buy some really expensive ones, and they're not usually readily available in the chandlery. So my plan for today is to pull them out and have a look, maybe clean it. Yeah, our bilge pumps are down there. Got one of them out. So that's the engine room bilge. As you can see, it's so far down, I don't know how you could ever clean it. Like how can you ever get down there to clean anything out? It's just not possible. So when the oil changes happen and you obviously drop some oil from the engine, it always ends up down in there. All the dust, dirt and crap ends up down there, and you end up with this kind of sludgy, this horrible sludgy concretey mess on the pumps. Bear in mind that all of this was shot blasted, so all of this was shot blasted and painted. In fact, that dusty shit is still the sandblast, it still falls out. So you see right up in here, it was all sandblasted, so it was clean when the engine was put in, and this is just built up over 5 years. So there's part of the problem. So this crusty crud was inside of the float switch. If you look inside the float switch, it's sticking on all the crap somewhere. So it basically has gone into the on position, and then it can't get back down to the off position. See this shit here? So all of this lot here is just preventing it from doing what it's supposed to do.
So nothing wrong with that. So that's clean enough to go back in. Cleaning it up with soapy water, bit of paint thinners.
That float switch is working now, right?
Yeah.
But the pumps I think were done when the engine was done. I think. I lose track. I think the pumps were put in when the engine was done. The only thing we did differently was rewire them because we put the alarms in.
Yeah. Okay, so cleaned the pump up, cleaned the float switch up on the inside as well, and it's on the aluminium bracket, so the wiring will get cable tied to that to keep it up out of the way. And then we're almost ready to reinstall.
Just trying to waterproof the connections with self-amalgamating tape. So the pump's ready to be dropped back in. Okay, off. I'll just do that one more time. Okay, pump is definitely rotating, so we've definitely got the pump working. Okay, so the problem was it would stay on when it was in the auto position. Can you switch it to auto for me? Oh, that's a step in the right direction. Okay, so we should now have this functional off of the float switch. So our float switch should now work. So if I do a test. Oh yeah. Yep, it's working. So we can put it back.
So these are our salvage pumps, which we use in case we start drastically taking on water. They literally just plug into a UK socket, and then the float switch starts the pump, and the pump just pushes all the water out of the bilge, and we literally just drop this flat hose in over the side. We have used them as we left San Carlos. See one of the episodes, leaving San Carlos. So yeah, that one works fine, and we have 2 of them, so we're just going to check the other one while they're out.
So the beauty of the salvage pumps is that they will run off of the generator, which we can put on deck. So if our batteries are underwater, and we really would be in trouble if the batteries were underwater, but we can actually run those salvage pumps off of a generator on deck, so that would keep us afloat a lot longer. Also, we can move them wherever we needed to put them. So once I had to run one in a forward section where I had a weld crack, about 8 hours away from Safe Haven. So they have come in useful. I would definitely recommend anyone to have these sort of salvage pumps on. They're just submersion pumps. The plastic ones are better because they don't corrode. If you buy the stainless steel ones or the sort of cheaper versions, they're not that great. The plastic ones don't have metal pieces inside of them as such, so you don't get the corrosion. Job done. Bilge pumps back in situ, and our salvage pumps back at the ready, should we ever need them. Look how pink that one is, right? But it's done. Done. Get out of my life, post-it note.
Nelson, mine. Ready? Go!
So today we're going to show you how to repair your hydrovane using some fairly basic tools.
It's never worked that good.
It's never worked that good since it came from the factory.
Now we just have to wonder if we've made it too easy. Action girl. We get to mock Ian.
Soldered the wrong one. Go on. It's no more fun, is it?
Yes, it is. Go on. No.
No, it's not funny. No, I soldered the wrong end of the cable. Put this thing on. It's only so you've got your hairdressing stuff to work during the summer. The only reason I'm putting this many solar panels up.
Nothing to do with your PlayStation.
Oh, just so there's a camera running, don't play up to it. Don't build up your part bigger than it is. Come on, take it off.
I had it off already.
Come on, all you've got to do is unscrew it. Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Doesn't work. How do you do it?
Like that. Sadly passed away whilst working on our boat.
Not actually while he was on our boat.
I think he's still in there, to be fair. Like, you get that occasional whiff. Not PC?
No.
Okay. We won't put that bit in.